Okay, this next comedian coming up to the stage is, I know Tara's very El Paso of me. This next comedian coming up to the stage is a very funny comic. He made a very good impression on Stoner Rob a few weeks ago, and will be opening for him in Vegas coming soon. Without further ado, please welcome to the stage, Marco.
Chuckles, El Paso, what's going on? Let's hear it. That's a nice looking crowd. Tell you, y'all been worried this last couple of weeks? It's been hot as hell, hasn't it? Yeah, I was listening to the news a couple of weeks ago, and I heard a newscaster say, this is the first official full day of summer. It kind of made me wonder. It's like, well, does that mean that yesterday was a half day of summer? How does that work, man? Yeah. But it has. It's been super, super hot, man. I mean, it's been so hot the last couple of weeks, I've been afraid to fart. All right, some of us went to college. Cool. We're going to self-right, whatever. But as Sorts mentioned, I will be going to Vegas here at the end of the month to open up for a big-time comic, which is really exciting. So I need to practice, but I'm not really nervous or anything. I don't like to fly, so I had to book my flight. You know, especially since like a couple of months ago when I was sitting there watching the news with my mom, they talked about that Alaskan Airlines flight where the door just flew out. Right? Luckily, the two people that were supposed to be sitting there had missed the flight, so nobody lost their lives, and it was really good. Right? But they were talking on the news, and they said, you know, because of this incident, Alaskan Airlines is going to offer everybody $1,000 and free therapy if they'd like it. Right? My mom turned to me and said, hey, mijo, that's pretty good, right? $1,000 and free therapy. I said, I don't know, I kind of want a little bit more if I was on a plane that lost the door, right? You know? Right when I said that, one of the guys on the anchor, he said, you know, what about free flights for life? You know, my mom was like, hey, mijo, free flights for life? And I was like, all right, now we're talking, but maybe on a different airline? Book Alaskan Airline. I'm getting on an airplane so you get some better duct tape, you know what I'm saying? So normally when I go up on stage, I like to wear one of my ladies' shirts, right? And my lady and I, we have a whole bunch of cats. I'm not gonna tell you how many cats we have because you might call the city on me and that's fucked up, right? But we got a lot of cats. So normally when I come to do a show, I like to throw on one of her shirts, you know, like a cute little cat with a cowboy hat and lasso, and it says meowie, you know, something like that. Right? A cat with a big old kitchen knife in his hand, and it says, you cat to be kidding me right now. Right? Something like that. And she gets upset when I wear her clothes, but I'm just like, fuck it, she wears my clothes, right? So I should be able to throw on her clothes too. And those shirts are very comfortable. The G-string, not so much. But I get used to it after a few moments. No whale tail, right? No, we're good? All right, cool. We're all right here. But yeah, my lady and I have been together for about 7 years now. Anybody in a relationship over, 7 years, 10 years, anything like that? Can I applause? Anybody? Oh, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, what's up? All right, we'll get that. We'll get to how? Excuse me, 34 years. Wow, that's almost longer than I've been alive. Don't believe it. I'm a lot older than that. How about you guys? How long you guys been together? Wow. Okay, applause for both of these two. That's good. My lady and I have been together long enough to where I can mess with her more than people in newer relationships, right? And I'll give you an example. The other day we were driving down the street in my truck, right? And everybody who knows me knows that I hate for you to touch the radio when I'm driving. Just a little pet peeve of mine, no big deal. Yeah, but there she goes flipping through the stations. And I'm getting frustrated, right? But I keep my mouth shut, because I hear that's how you keep a relationship alive these days, right? Plus she carries a knife, and believe me, she'll fucking use it, right? So she finally stops on this one station, and it was a song I've never heard before in my life, and there she goes, just jamming out to it, having the time of her life. I decided to be a really good boyfriend and keep my mouth shut, and I wait for that song to end. And when it finally ends, I turn to her and I say, hey babe, was that Taylor Swift? And she says to me, oh my God, baby, yes, that was Taylor Swift. I love T Swift. How did you know? And I said, well, because I fucking suck. It never fails. Anytime that I tell that joke, somebody always gets upset. I had this lady just a few weeks ago come up to me and say, Marco Antoine, that's very disrespectful. Taylor Swift is a national treasure, and you should never talk about her like that. And I said, look, ma'am, I get it. You're upset. But if you're going to get upset, it's a dumb joke. You shake it off, Thank you, I appreciate that. I made it all worth it right there, yeah. Shake it off, because the hater's gonna hate, you know, that's all I gotta say about that, you know? So, you all happy that the pandemic's over? Yeah, man, I'm so glad that we were able to get out, man. I wasn't able to hang out with my buddies for a long time. During the pandemic, I had to call my buddies up on the phone, right? Got this one buddy of mine, bit of a vato, a bit of an essay. Not the brightest bear in the forest, you know, but I've known him since we were 6 years old. I love the dude, right? So we're on the phone, in the middle of our conversation, I say to him, I say, hey dude, did you get your inoculation? And there's a long, quiet pause, kind of like this. And then you hear, my Woody. I said, your inoculation? He said, there's another one? I thought it was cold and it's it. I had to explain to him, you know, inoculation is just another way to say, you know, to get your shot, right? So a few weeks later, we're out with some other buddies of mine out at the basketball courts, just shooting some hoop, right? And one of my friends is at the three-point line, and he does a killer crossover, Tim Hardaway style, you know, fades back, shoots that shit, nothing but net. My homeboy in the back, he's like, hey, killer inoculation, that's it! That's how you use that. Yeah. Later on after the game, we're out at a bar having some drinks, you know, like every athlete in his prime does, you know. We'll take some have some drinks at the bar, and my buddy got separated from the rest of us. We found a table. About 10 minutes later, he comes up with a tray full of Jaeger bombs, just dancing, inoculation. Get in the truck, man. I gotta take you home. You're drunk. My lady, y'all, she also used to get really upset at me, really annoyed with me during the pandemic. I would just annoy the hell out of her. I'm an annoying person when you leave me at home for too long, you know? So she would kick me out of the house. So I'd go driving around the city of El Paso, right? And I'd go looking for businesses that have those big old banners up there that said, now hiring all positions. And I'd go in, dressed pretty much like I'm dressed now, you know? Find the manager and say, you guys are hiring for all positions. And he's like, well, yes, sir, we are. I said, well, how about this position? He said, no. So what about this position? He's all, sir, that's more of a movement. So, oh, you don't do movements? I know my bad. You guys are fun, I love it. I think the term house hunting is just a stupid term. You know, pretty much because, you know, once they're built, they just kind of stand there, right? I mean, I bet if your first experience with hunting was for houses, you probably think animals make it a lot more difficult than it needs to be. All right. Thought that would do a little bit better, but whatever, let's move on. So anybody here enjoy Panda Express? Nobody? We got a couple, all right. Yeah. This joke's for you, sir. Yeah. The rest of y'all just politely. Well, my lady and I, we love Panda Express. You know, their food is amazing. That's not my problem. My issue is their fortune cookie. You know, their fortune cookie game is getting super weak. You know, my lady sent me out for some takeout. I picked it up. We came back home. We sat down on the couch to watch one of her favorite romantic shows, Intervention. You guys heard of it? Anyway. I like you. So we finish up our dinner, our Panda Express, and I decided to crack open my fortune cookie. You know what it says? This isn't even a joke. This is serious. I open it up and I read it. It says, your smile lights up a room. Yeah? Yeah, no. And while that may be true, trust me, I've checked. It's not in fact a fortune, is it? I mean, what are they in the statement cookie game now? And my lady cracks open hers, you know what it says? It's not even typed. Red ink, all caps, it just says help. Little Asians are getting lazy. That's all I gotta say. So a few years ago, I kind of transitioned into a, don't get freaked out, just let me finish. Transitioned into a 90% plant-based diet, right? Yeah, it's really, it's a lot healthier. You know, I've lost some weight, I feel better and everything, but about a couple of weeks after I had actually made the transition, my brother's wife sent me a picture of my niece, my youngest niece, and she's chowing down into this big bacon cheeseburger, right? And then she captions it, you know, my daughter after her own Theo's heart. I thought, oh, that's kind of sweet, right? I sent her a text message back. I said, hey, hermana, that's really cool, but you know, I don't eat much meat anymore. And 2 minutes later, my phone rings, and it's my niece on the other end of the line, and she's like, "Yo, Marco, you're a Vajin?" I said, "Maybe it's pronounced vegan, but yes, I'm a All right, y'all, enjoy the rest of the show. My name's Marco Antoine. You guys are gonna love these dudes that are coming up. Give it up for your host one more time, Sergio Morning, everybody. Come on.